American author and actor Jerome Silberman, professionally popular as Gene Wilder, died on the 29th of August of 2016 at 83 of complications from Alzheimer's. He was best known for his ability to make people laugh. His unforgettable roles in classic movies like See No Evil, Hear No Evil and Young Frankenstein remain memorable to date. But the comic genius was a gentle person who knew how to truly love. The filmmaker married 4 times in his life, but is probably best remembered for his relationship with Gilda Radner. Wilder met Radner in 1982 while shooting Hanky Panky. Wilder was 2 decades into his career when Sidney Poitier, the film's director, suggested that Radner, who was 13 years younger than him and a member of the original cast of SNL, should play the female lead. In 1991, Wilder tied the knot with his 4th wife secretly. He went on air to say he was happier than ever in his life as a husband to Gilda. The two lived in an 18th century colonial property where Wilder lived his remaining days writing his books. He also spent that time promoting cancer awareness and treatment, co-founding the Gilda Radner Ovarian Cancer Detection Center and Gilda's Club, a cancer support group. But what led to the ending of Gene and Gilda's marriage, and more importantly, did fans of theirs want Gene to mourn forever instead of being happy? Let's find out. Love at first sight. Gene and Gilda's first meeting seems like something out of a romantic comedy. They met August 13, 1981, as the sun started to set behind the Hudson River. Wilder was in a tuxedo. He had just completed shooting a scene for the movie Hanky Panky, in which his co-star would be the talented Radner. The location was where all ocean liners would dock on the East River. Wilder walked over confidently to introduce himself to Radner, who he had known from her work on SNL. What followed remained a point of controversy between the two in the coming years. Gilda said he rubbed his crotch against her knees when he sought her permission to get some coffee or tea, though Wilder vehemently denied he did this. But we can say it was quite a beginning. Was it a fairy tale-ish beginning to their story or a heart-wrenching one? But if you're enjoying this video so far, please like it and subscribe to our channel. Later, Radner wrote of their first meeting in her book. She described how her heart fluttered and she was hooked. According to Radner, it felt like her life went straight from being monochromatic to technicolor. It had taken 2 weeks for Radner to make her move on Wilder. When it finally happened, she threw him in his hotel room bed. She was, at the time, married to well-known guitarist G.E. Smith when she fell head over heels in love with Wilder. She's reportedly confessed of being unhappy in her married life. In many an interview, Wilder has said Radner confessed to him she knew she was falling for him and would also be leaving her husband for him. Wilder was obviously both overwhelmed and baffled when he heard this. Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner suffered from infertility. The celebrity couple's attempts to have children were initial hints of the tragedy that was about to unfold. In between their constant globetrotting and collaborations, they did attempt to have children. Unfortunately, Radner suffered from 2 miscarriages, including one while they were filming her 3rd movie, Haunted Honeymoon, in London. She chose to undergo IVF, but that didn't help either. Doctors told her she was infertile and gave her no hope. What they failed to realize was why she was having trouble conceiving or being able to carry a child to term. During this time, Radner began feeling faint and exhausted, unable to be awake during routine engagements. At first, doctors informed her she had Epstein-Barr virus that was the cause of mononucleosis. But her fatigue soon turned worse, with worse symptoms. Her legs would begin shaking uncontrollably, and her stomach would be so bloated, Radner would not even manage to button her own pants. She would frequently feel feverish. Such things kept happening in cycles and were connected to the time of menstruation, but no physician could pinpoint the problem. When the duo visited Paris, Wilder had taken her to his favorite bistro. Soon after eating, Radner began to feel uncomfortable, and the discomfort gradually grew when they went outside and started walking. Apparently, Radner was complaining of cramps, stomach pain, and extreme bloating. She was lying down and doubling over the curb while Wilder was trying to catch a taxi to go back to their hotel. Physicians suggested it could be her stomach, but that didn't check out. Some believed it was partly mental and related to depression. Radner's pelvic cramps were becoming worse, but gynecologists kept saying she had nothing to worry about. In her memoir, Radner states she was having Mittelschmerz, a term used to denote cramping during ovulation, and Epstein-Barr virus. The pattern continued. Radner would feel better again, only to be hit by incapacitating pain. The doctor she was seeing would tell her tests were negative and she just needed to relax. One asked her to take antidepressants as if those would relieve her bodily pain. The tragic end of the Wilder-Radner romance. Radner, whose father had died of cancer, feared she would get the disease too, and kept asking the doctors if it was a possibility. They waved off her doubts until they detected malignancy in the month of October of 1986. Her prognosis suggested ovarian cancer and a tumor that was the exact size of a full-grown grapefruit. She underwent a hysterectomy and got chemotherapy and was told she was cancer-free in 1988. However, the cancer returned in 1989. In May of the same year, she passed away after undergoing a CT scan. She was only 42 years old then, and Gene was 55. A year after his wife's death, Gene admitted in an interview that during her last days, he tried to continue making her laugh and kept the fact that Radner had only 20% chance of survival a secret. After his wife's untimely demise, Gene transformed mourning into action by raising awareness to detect ovarian cancer. He testified in front of Congress to rally to increase funding for women's reproductive diseases. As one of the most enduring gifts he could ever give her, he founded Gilda's Club, a support group for cancer survivors, patients, and their families, and the Gilda Radner Ovarian Detection Center, currently known as the Gilda Radner Hereditary Cancer Program. How Gene Wilder found love once again. They say you happen to find love when you're least expecting it. Well, that's exactly what happened with Gene Wilder when he met Karen Boyer, his future wife. Jordan Walker Perlman, Wilder's nephew, told People magazine the late actor would over and over again question himself if he'd ever date again. Reportedly, he hadn't gone on a single date after Gilda had passed away. But after spending some time by himself to grieve, Wilder again felt comfortable enough to date, and this time he knew who to call. Walker Perlman went on to say Wilder had claimed that even if it sounded crazy, he would still call up Karen Boyer and ask her out on a date. This was almost a year after Gilda had passed away. Karen was surprised to receive his call. Wilder met Boyer, a speech consultant, while researching for See No Evil, Hear No Evil, which was released in 1989. The two never really went for their first date until a year after meeting. But once they did manage to reconnect and rebond, their partnership was indestructible. They dated for 2 years before finally tying the knot in an extremely private manner at Wilder's beautiful Connecticut property. Throughout their 25-year marriage, the couple led a low-key life in their Connecticut home, where they spent their days writing, playing tennis, and painting together. Most people would consider their life to be a romantic vacation. According to Wilder's nephew, after overcoming quite a troubled childhood and years in Hollywood, Wilder finally found peace in the simple life he spent with Boyer. Wilder died on a warm Sunday at his own home in Connecticut, a few days before his 25th wedding anniversary with Boyer. In their wedding vows, they mentioned they were going to dedicate their lives to one another. Needless to say, that's exactly what they did. That Wilder continued giving back in Gilda's name and memories tells us so much about his love for her, light years beyond what we tend to expect of today's celebrity couples. Is this what you think too, or do you have a different say? To share your thoughts and opinions, tap on the comment section below and let us know. And before you move on, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel, and press the bell icon to stay updated about all our latest videos.